Hi, I'm Jenny, and in this video we are going to find out what happens when one of the highest grossing video game franchises ever teams up with one of the biggest watchmakers of the 21st century, so let's get started. So I think when this collaboration was first announced, I got sent a screenshot of the watches and I completely freaked out. Not only because it's a new release, but also because it felt like those watches were somehow specifically designed for me. Because on the one hand, we have the Street Fighter game, something very near to my heart because it reminds me so much of my childhood and the time when I was, done with my homework and I was allowed to sit next to my brother in his room and we would play all sorts of games on the PlayStation like Street Fighter or Tekken or Metal Gear Solid, or the very first game that I got to play entirely by myself, Spyro the Dragon. And then there's watches, something that has been around my entire life too. My dad used to be, and still is, the main person in my family who you talk to when you're in need of a watch. He loves fixing up old watches that he finds at flea markets, and he's also the master of finding the perfect strap for whatever watch you bring him. So I think now you can understand why this launch really got to me. When I saw the press release, I immediately texted my brother, and so here we have the results. I got the Chun Li for myself, and my brother picked the Rio, and today I'm going to show you both watches in a hands-on review. But before we start with the watches, listen, I get it. They have a very special look to them. I know they look like toy watches or pirate accessory to some, but hear me out first and let me know in the comments at the end if I have perhaps changed your mind about the watches or not. So let's start with Ryu first. In terms of colors, it is the lightest of the 6 different limited edition watches that were released in this launch, with a white dial and a bezel that has 2 solid colors which are clearly separated. The case is that of a Seiko 5 Sport, so we have the 42.5mm diameter, which sounds huge to be honest, but luckily the lugs are rather small, and even on my 150mm wrist, it's just on the edge of being too big. The case itself feels very nice and has no sharp edges, with polished flanks and a brushed surface on top. The crown sits at 4, with which you can adjust the time, the day and date, and also hand wind the watch if you like. But let's see what makes this watch so special and how exactly Seiko has transferred Ryu's character into this watch. So Ryu is the protagonist of the Street Fighter games. He's known for not only being the guy who wears the white gi, but also for being a very serious, hardworking, and very dedicated fighter who always aims to become better, which can sometimes even make him appear a bit like distant or even detached. So I think it was really important for Seiko to not mess up with this watch, and let me show you why I think they have absolutely nailed it. The white dial, which might look a bit more beige depending on the light, has this fabric-like texture to it which is meant to represent Ryu's gi, and I think they have managed to do that very nicely. The lines of the textures are fine but not too thin, and the fact that they went for an off-white color helps to get the fabric idea across. The hour markers and hands are filled with Lumibrite, which give a nice green glow in the dark, but it's the black lettering at 9 o'clock you should really focus on. Right there sits a simplified version of the kanji characters that you can also see on Ryu's fighting gloves, which signify as swift as the wind, as gentle as the forest, as fierce as fire, and as unshakable as the mountain, which sounds a lot like that Mulan song, which is actually taken from a battle standard out of the Sengoku period, which lasted from about 1482 to 1565 in Japan. You can say it is sort of a mantra to Ryu, something that keeps him grounded, focused, and hardworking, and I really like that they have taken such an essential part of his character and put it right there on the dial. What's also really cool is the bezel. There's not only the Ryu color scheme with the black and red, which represents his gloves and red headband, but it's also made to look a bit, roughed up or distressed to represent his hard training and work ethic. The theme continues to the strap, where they used a white canvas material on the upside, and on the inside there is black calf leather. The strap itself is nicely padded, which is definitely a must given the thick case. I think otherwise it would have looked a bit silly, but what I really dislike here is the fact that the strap is super stiff. I'm sure this one really needs some time to break in order to feel comfortable. Like I said, there is black calf leather on the inside, but there's also another nice detail on the strap. At the tip, we can see the kanji characters for wind, forest, fire, and mountain, another reference to his gloves again. As with most Seikos, you get an exhibition case back, but then again, with most Seikos, you get one that has stuff printed on, so you can't really see as much as you perhaps might want to. But anyways, there's the Street Fighter V logo printed on it, the character's name of the watch, but also the controller commands for Ryo's most iconic move, the Hadouken, and you can also see which number your watch is out of the 9,999 that were released for each character watch. All in all, I think they did a great job in bringing Ryo's character to life in watch form. I'm absolutely sure it's not easy to select which design cues to include. It can be a very fine line between too literal and perhaps looking kitsch or being way too vague. And I'm happy they have picked white as the main color and focused on adding the right amount of hints to his character without making the watch looking too much like a toy. Okay, so now let's get to the watch that I got for myself. Of course, it's the Chun Li watch. Same as the Ryo and every other watch in this limited edition, it has the Seiko 5 sports case and the proportions as well as the same finishing on the case. It is also the same automatic movement. Inside beats the Seiko 4R36 with a power reserve of about 41 hours, a day and date complication, and a hacking seconds function. As some of you watching this might know, Chun Li was the first female character to appear in a fighting game, and she's also the main female protagonist in the game. She's an expert martial artist, super dedicated to her work as an Interpol agent, she used to be a cop, with a strong sense of justice, as her main goal is to avenge her father's death, who got killed by Bison, which is another character in the game. But she's not only a total badass who fights to protect the innocent, she's also very sweet, and you can see her more feminine side come out in the cutscenes of the game. So the challenge with her watch is definitely to portray her many facets without losing her character in it. So let's see if Seiko was able to do her justice. As you can see, royal blue is the dominating color on this watch, which makes perfect sense given Chun Li's outfit in the game. The blue somber style has a nice rich color to it, and we can find some more hints to Chun Li's appearance and fighting style on the dial. What's really special here are the hour markers. At 6 and 9 o'clock, you have these spikes instead of the rounded, I don't know, I think I would call them rivets, that you can see at 1 or at 2 o'clock, for example. These spikes represent the spikes that she has on her bracelet that she wears in order to balance herself out when she's doing her crazy kicking combos. Another really amazing detail sits at 12 o'clock. At first, it might only look to you like a very nice twirly golden shape, but this is actually the same exact shape you can see at the collar part of her dress that she wears. I think it is such a nice detail, and it fits perfectly on the dial with the spikes and the rounded hour markers. A nice balance between the sharp edges of the spikes and the soft rounded shapes of her collar at 12 o'clock. It continues onto the bezel, where we can see the same blue color with twirly golden Roman numerals printed on it. It's a unidirectional bezel, and given the inscription, I wouldn't really call it functional. But it continues the theme of mixing the colors blue and golden and adding to the Chun Li essence to the numerals with the playful twirls. Instead of a fabric strap like Ryo's, this one here has a full calf leather strap with a blue upside and some very nice white contrasting stitching. And when we flip it around, you can see the white inside of the strap with the dragon pattern printed onto it, which represents Chun Li's white belt that she wears with her standard blue outfit. And to be honest, I always thought it was just a plain white belt, so I was pleasantly surprised to learn about this new detail. Same with Ryo's and all other watches, you have the exhibition case back with the character name on it, the number of your watch, as well as the controller combo for one of her iconic moves. In this case, it's her spinning bird kick. Overall, I think they did a great job with this watch. You can tell how they've really thought about how to incorporate both her professional and personal life into this watch. The only thing that really bugs me, same with the Ryo watch, is the strap though. It's also really stiff and feels really uncomfortable to wear right now, so I cannot wait until this strap gets a bit softer over time so I can really enjoy it. Perhaps it would have been better if they went for a dark grey NATO strap to make it match the black or dark grey bracelet that she wears, and I think it will also help with the comfort, but I guess that's just a personal preference. Though this one perhaps is really close to the edge of looking more like some sort of toy watch, I really, really love this so much. It has just enough of Chun Li in it to get recognized by fans, but to everybody else it's just a very loud blue watch, and that's totally fine by me. So now that you know how it looks when one of the most popular fighting games teams up with an equally popular watch brand, I want to hear from you what you think about those types of watch mashups. So I think same with movie or TV show crossovers, such collaborations can be a hit or a miss, but I would rather see them try, new things instead of staying within their lane and keep doing the same things over and over again. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about these Street Fighter watches, whether or not I could change your mind on them, and which watch crossover would be a dream come true for you. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.